Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a region that's basically defined by a powerful paradox, a real land of extremes, West Bengal.
And this one question right here really gets to the heart of what makes West Bengal so unique. It's the only state in India that literally stretches from the Himalayas all the way down to the Bay of Bengal. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right, so first up, let's talk about the most dramatic contrast of all, the state's absolutely incredible geography.
Just picture this. In one part of the state, you've got these towering, high-altitude Himalayan peaks. And then, at the other end, you have the sprawling, low-lying delta of the Sundarbans. It's like two different worlds.
So up in the north, you're in a land of steep mountains and seriously deep valleys. We're talking about peaks like Sandakphu that soar over 3,600 meters high, landscapes that have been carved out by these powerful rivers, and of course, those world-famous tea plantations. And to top it all off, you've got the incredible toy train, a UNESCO World Heritage Railway that winds its way through it all.
And then you travel all the way down south, and it's a completely different planet. You hit the Sundarbans. Now, this isn't just any old delta. It is the world's largest single mangrove forest. It's this huge, marshy maze of rivers and islands, and it's a massive global hotspot for biodiversity. It's home to the legendary Royal Bengal tiger and supports, well, a staggering number of other species.
Here's the thing though, this ecological marvel, it's incredibly fragile. Because as river water gets diverted further upstream, more and more salt water from the bay is creeping inland. And this rising salinity is putting a huge strain on the mangroves. It's not just threatening the ecosystem, it's threatening the livelihoods of millions of people who depend on it.
Okay, so from geography, let's jump into the history, because you're going to see this pattern again. Bengal's past is an unbelievable story of incredible highs and absolutely devastating lows.
You can really see the roller coaster ride on this timeline. It all starts with the Bengal Sultanate, a true economic powerhouse. Then, boom, the Battle of Plassey changes everything, kicking off British rule and turning Calcutta into the capital of a global empire. That's followed by this explosion of creativity and ideas, the Bengal Renaissance, right before the deep trauma of partition in 1947.
And let's be clear, during that golden era, the Bengal Sultanate was a giant. This quote here from European traders, that's not an exaggeration. It was a major global center for commerce. Merchants came from all over the world, and they were just blown away by the wealth they found. But then, you have the flip side. That incredible high was met with an absolutely devastating low, the 1947 partition. This number, 14 million. That's how many people were uprooted in a massive, unplanned migration. For Bengal, it was a catastrophe that redrew the map, reshaped society, and left a scar that you can still feel today. So you take all that complex history, the peaks, the valleys, and it forges a culture that's, well, both deeply traditional and fiercely intellectual. You really can't talk about Bengali culture without talking about Durga Puja. But this isn't just a religious festival. Oh no. It's a massive 10-day citywide celebration of art and community. You have these workshops that create the most incredible, elaborate clay sculptures. The whole city just transforms. It's so important that UNESCO now recognizes it as part of the cultural heritage of all of humanity. And this spirit of innovation, it finds its way into the kitchen in the most surprising ways. What's so fascinating is that some of Bengal's most famous vegetarian dishes were actually born out of hardship. Strict dietary rules imposed on widows forced this incredible culinary creativity, leading to masterpieces like shukdo and aloo posto that are now loved by absolutely everyone. And of course, this is a place that has always punched way above its weight intellectually. It's globally recognized. The historic Bengal region and its universities have produced multiple Nobel laureates, from a genius like Rabindranath Tagore to modern economists like Amartya Sen and Abhijit Banerjee. It just shows this deep-rooted commitment to knowledge and new ideas. All right, let's switch gears to the economy. And guess what? We see that same story of contrasts, of duality, playing out all over again between old-school industries and a super high-tech future. So at first glance, the economy looks pretty modern, right? The services sector is king, making up over half the GDP. But don't let that number fool you. If you look closer, you see that agriculture and industry are still a huge, foundational piece of the pie. In fact, West Bengal is the #1 rice producer in all of India. Then you have these legacy industries, like jute. They call it the golden fiber.
It's great for the environment, and it supports hundreds of thousands of jobs. But as this quote makes pretty clear, this whole sector is facing a survival crisis, struggling with high costs and instability. It's a major challenge.
And then, in the other corner, you have this. A 1 with 12 zeros after it. 1 trillion rupees. That is the amount of investment that's been pulled in for the Bengal Silicon Valley tech hub. This is a massive, all-in bet on a future driven by IT, by AI, and by e-commerce.
So yeah, it's a real tightrope walk, isn't it? You've got these incredible traditional strengths, a dominant farming sector, a vital port moving millions of tons of cargo, and right alongside them, you have this massive, game-changing investment in a new Silicon Valley. The state is trying to manage its past while sprinting towards a totally different, knowledge-based future.
So after all that, what's the big takeaway? How do we wrap our heads around a place that's pulling in so many different directions all at once?
Well, I think the answer is right there in the tension. West Bengal isn't defined by just its peaks or just its swamps, not by its golden age or its trauma. It's not about tradition or tech. The real identity is in the synthesis, the fusion of all of these powerful, competing forces.
And that's exactly why this place is so important to watch. This unique blend of a deep legacy and this massive forward momentum, well, that's what makes it such a critical region. You put together its location, its port, its brainpower, and its new tech ambitions, and you've got the potential makings of an economic engine for the entire eastern part of India.
Which leaves us with one last big question. As this land of contrasts builds its future, what's going to define it more? Its rich, complex, and sometimes heavy past, or its ambitious, trillion-rupee vision for what comes next? That right there is the question at the very heart of West Bengal today.